Hi guys, it's Jasmine. I know it has been a while, but I am back. It is May, which is Lupus Awareness Month, so I am back. I just wanted to take the time just to talk to you guys, just to have a little chit chat, and just to encourage you guys on my journey thus far. There have been so many life lessons that I have learned throughout this experience. Can you believe that it's been 10 years since I was diagnosed with lupus? Honestly, there was a time I did not even know what my life would look like. But looking back now, these years have changed in ways that I never expected them to. I've faced challenges. I've learned some very hard lessons. I have been hit with more reality checks than I can count. But through all of that came a glow up that did not have anything to do with appearance. That's just generally a glow up of who I personally am. It's been a glow up of growth, of strength, of learning who I really am throughout this process. So sit with me as I get ready and let's talk about what it's like, what it's really like living with lupus, my journey, my lessons, and the glow up that came with it all. I will also be sharing some of my favorite makeup products. You guys know that that is just my joy. That's just something that takes me away from all of my challenges that I deal with lupus. So I'm just gonna share with you just like a little natural glam, some products that really help me put together like my natural go-to glam, even on the days where I don't want to be glam, I don't feel well, I don't want to deal with life. This is just my pick-me-up. This is what makes me happy. So I love to share that with you guys. While we're having our little chit chat about living with lupus, I am going to share with you guys some of my favorite makeup products that I have been using this year. And I picked up this Tower 28 SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. I actually got this for my birthday this year. It was like a little Sephora gift birthday thing. So I have actually already went somewhere today, so I've already used facial moisturizer and sunscreen. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this, but it's just like a little pick-me-up spray when you've already used some type of product on your face. Now, since this is a lupus related video, you guys know I have to put you on to some of my go-to and things that I absolutely have to incorporate into my skincare routine. So this is the e.l.f. Skin Sun Touchable sunscreen. It has SPF 45. So I have already applied this again, but I did want to share that with you guys. If you are living with lupus and you know you want a great recommendation for a sunscreen. Now let me just tell you guys, I always have to go in on the lips, around the nose with a little aquifer, just for skin drying. I'm also going to put just a little eye cream under the eyes. This is the Renew Triv by Estee Lauder. So I am just going to put a little bit of that under the eye as well. Now as we're getting that soaked into the skin, let me just tell you guys the reason behind this video. So recently, actually last weekend, I went to a lupus empowerment conference and I was asked to speak. And there, it just kind of got like the roles wheeling, I guess, in my head, just about what am I going to do this year for lupus awareness. It's been a while since I've shared a video with you guys, so I did want to, you know, just sit down and chit chat and talk to you guys about something, some subject matter, if you get what I'm saying. First, I'm going to start off with our Morphe Filter Effect. This is concealer that I always use. Now, a lot of you may not even know me, so I am Jasmine. This is my channel. I do dedicate my channel to just like living with lupus, and that's all things living with lupus. But if you don't know anything about me, I was diagnosed with lupus in September of 2015. After years, and I mean over 20 years of just dealing with numerous symptoms and signs, of like fatigue, of sickness after exertion, sickness after, being out in the sun, things like that, that now I know were symptoms of me having lupus. So after dealing with those things throughout my childhood, I was officially diagnosed with lupus at 23, which was literally, I don't even know if it was it would have been an entire year and a little change after graduating college. And at that time I was home, I was doing like a little bi-year, and my goal was to save up enough to move to Atlanta. And I wanted to work in the entertainment industry as an image consultant or something in like PR. I've always been like super into entertainment news, celebrity gossip, even on the athletic side, maybe working as a image consultant. So none of that happened because I got sick, and like super sick. When I say I got sick, this is what's called the presentation stage when you have lupus. Now I'm going to go in with e.l.f. This is the Halo Glow liquid filter. I use that just to kind of set a little bit of warmth on my skin. And then I usually go in with NARS. So that's called the presentation stage. And lupus does normally affect younger women during that stage, when it's kind of like their childbearing years, kind of like their most stressful years, when they're jumping out into the real world. That commonly happens, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I was diagnosed at 23. At that time, I was dealing with numerous symptoms like fatigue, like loss of use of my arms, of my legs, things of that sort. And also at that time I was having extreme high fevers. So I think that I was having consistent fevers for like a week or two, and my mom was like, kind of watching it, and she was like, listen, you have you have been dealing with these fevers, and they were night fevers. And I mean, they were extremely high. Like, I was changing my clothes probably like 2 or 3 times a night. I was so wet having these night fevers. And she was like, yeah, enough is enough. So we went to the emergency room. They kept me for like 3 weeks. And during that time, which is now a complete blur, but during that time we did all kind of extensive testing, for rheumatoid factors and things that show that you have some type of muscle related or autoimmune diseases. I also had to have a surgery. I did a muscle biopsy. At that time, they found out that my muscles were necrotic, which pretty much means they were like dead. And so that's how we found out that I had lupus and like all of these other autoimmune and muscle diseases. So generally at this time, I had a lot of questions went unanswered. I didn't know much about lupus. I pretty much just knew, like, I heard that Toni Braxton had lupus, like Seal. There were different people that I knew that had lupus, but this was just a whole new thing for me. So I will say, like, maybe the first year or so was just, like I said, a complete blur. Me just trying to figure out, what treatment works. And we did so many regimens and so many treatments. I saw so many physicians. Like, it was just a whirlwind of things. But like I said, as I am just now here, it'll be 11 years this year. So here I am 11 years later, thinking about where I was at that time, just kind of mentally and dealing with those things. I just look at where my mindset was back then, and it was just all over the place. Like, just concerned about super petty things, of course, at 23, like kind of male centered, you know, dealing with love triangles and just dealing with all of those things, not even knowing that my life was going to change so much where those things would not even matter anymore. A lot of those petty things. Also, at the time, as I talked about, I wanted to work into the entertainment industry. I used to be super obsessed with those things like celebrity news and gossip and things of that sort. I am going to go in. This is like nothing special. I don't even think this is name brand, but this is what I use just to tone up and bronze myself a bit. Just at that time, I think that there was a lack of purpose, you know, and just being centered around usual distractions that you're dealing with at that age. And looking back just at where I was I prepared for what's to come? Absolutely not. But during that process, when you're dealing with lupus, and I feel like this is something a lot of people can relate to that deal with having a chronic illness or any type of illness, it's like you're having an out-of-body experience. Given the progression where I am now, I cannot even imagine if someone was to tell me, you know, you have some new disease or illness and you have to have surgery, you have to have a port put in, you have to have treatments, you have to do this, you have to be on chemo, you have, like, I could not even imagine dealing with those whirlwinds, which is crazy to think because I've already been there, right? But I think that when I was there, it was not an option. Like, it was just something that I had to face at the time. So I just did it. I just dealt with it. But thinking back now, I'm like, it was such an out-of-body experience because I don't know how I did any of that stuff. Like, I seriously, I don't know what it is, but I think that you just have like this super strength when you have to deal with certain things and you have no choice but to really overcome it. And so I think that the greatest reality check dealing with lupus during the lupus stage is just that things are not going to happen in life as you expected. That's the obvious. But the greatest lesson that I had to learn from that is patience. And I had to learn to have gratitude despite where I was. So specifically, one thing that I was dealing with that really toiled with me was just the fact that I was not independent. Like, it was the lack of independence, like living at home, being with family, like not really being on my own. And then there's a lot that comes with it. Like, there was a lot that was on standstill at the time. I was not working for a while. There was no love life anywhere. So there was just like all of these things that were standing still. And sometimes that can be hard, especially when you see other people, you know, navigating life that are the same age as you. They're getting married, they are having kids, like all of these things that they were just things that I was in no room to even go through at that time or to experience at that time. Which there are so many challenges along that and dealing with that. And I don't think that there's any amount of advice or support that someone can give you to make you get over those feelings. Those are just things that you have to go through, and it just naturally comes with this experience. I think the greatest lesson through that experience was learning to navigate life from a different perspective. I am going to go in with these Rare Beauty. I got these trial kits, and this is the Happy Blush, and this is the Hope Blush. Going back to that discussion, so just thinking of navigating life from a different perspective, again, just meaning, yeah, it may have been a challenge to lose like my independence and things like that, because I did used to live alone. I went through college living by myself and being social and experiencing things that you do when you're living by yourself. And I had to just learn, like, what's the alternative to this? Like, if you didn't live with your family, and have the support of your friends and things like that, some people don't have that. Like, some people don't even have their family to help them. And I just learned to become grateful for the fact that I had a family and I had support, because those people that don't, they're sick, they're on the streets, they have no home to come to. They don't have any family, no friends to just support them mentally. So I had to learn to just be grateful and to just be happy that I did have that. Not to just be thinking of what you don't have in the moment, but just think about what you do have. Now I think that I'm finally at the point where I can redefine lupus, and that's just giving lupus like a different face, giving it a different name. Looking back on my progression at going into year 11, thinking, or just kind of like remembering where my thoughts were, what my thought process was at that time, I did not think there was any hope for me. Like, when these people, just imagine, like, you're in the hospital, these people are telling you you have X, Y, and Z. I seriously thought that that was it. Like, this is my life. I am going to be like bed bound. I'm not going to be able to work. I'm not going to be able to do anything. Like, people are gonna always have to care for me. I didn't know what to expect. But looking back on that now, like, y'all, I have been able to accomplish so much. So much. Even when I wasn't working, I was working with my mom. Like, we had a subscription box business. These are things that even average healthy people have never experienced in their life. And the fact that I was able to gain that experience, from being home, like, I had to learn to also kind of look at a different perspective from that. Maybe this is just where I was meant to be in the moment, to learn these different skills and to learn how to do this, for God to give me this opportunity. I just had to kind of think from that perspective. I always use e.l.f. Camo concealers to go in and highlight under the eye. Going back to perspective during that time where, I wasn't working with my mom with the subscription box business, before then, I just didn't feel like I really had purpose. Like, I didn't know what my purpose was yet. So I had to think, like, am I here just kind of to learn my purpose, to learn what it is I'm good at, to learn, what my talents are, all of these things. I just had to learn how to think from that perspective instead of like, oh, woe is me. Like, I have this wrong with me. I have that wrong with me. Things are never going to be right again. I had to just kind of learn and see things differently. When I was at the Lupus Empowerment Conference, I was asked to speak on the panel, and the last question that I was asked was, what's like one bit of advice that I would give for those living with lupus? And my advice would be just to let people know that lupus does not have to be a death sentence. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't realize. They are diagnosed with lupus and they're just like, this is it. This is my life. For me, I just refuse for it to be that way. I was blessed enough, and this was a challenge within itself, because I've seen numerous doctors, medical groups, all of those things. But I was blessed enough, to have a great medical group that worked with me, and, we tried this treatment, we tried that treatment, we tried every treatment that we could. And I think that what, anyone dealing with lupus or any type of chronic illness has to remember is that once you find a treatment that works for you, your quality of life, or great quality of life, can be obtained again. And that's what I'm just hoping that no one loses sight of, that you always keep that in mind at the end of the day, because it's possible. It's back to the conversation that I had with the woman that came up to me at the lupus conference. I make these videos and I do this because I want people to look at me and I want them to say, she was exactly where I used to be, but now she's here. Just to see like the progression, you know, to relate to someone. That's something special, and that's something that you may not get a lot. When people see my story, I just want for them to feel like lupus has a completely different definition. I'm going to go in with a little bronzer, just a powder, just to go over where I've bronzed myself a bit. This is with Juvia's Place. Now, sometimes, I don't know if you guys will see where people just have like that flawless matte finish. Maybelline Fit Me powder. That's going to give you the finish that you need. You just want to tap, tap, tap in your hand like this. You always want to be super neat with this. Okay, so after putting your powder on, you definitely want to go in with the One Size Powder Melts. Melt me up. I think a lot of times people may see me incorporating makeup into my videos and you know, just my motivational spills about living with lupus, but it's not necessarily about vanity for me. It's just a little bit more, like I said, about redefining lupus. Despite every single thing that I have been through, I feel like I have had a glow up. And it's not just, when I speak of glow up, it's not necessarily about looks or appearance. It's also just about a mental glow. Dealing with a lot of the life lessons that I've learned from, you know, navigating life as a person with a chronic illness. And not even just, you know, mentally, but I've had a professional glow up. Like I said, I did not know what having lupus was going to mean for me. I didn't think that I was going to be, you know, going back to work or doing any of those things like that. But I just recently got a promotion to a senior position, and I'm doing all of these things despite having lupus. So your glow up can be personal to you, to be very honest. Your glow up can be a simple fact that you're no longer needing some type of medication. If you don't have a chronic illness, your glow up can be something as small as, like I said, getting a promotion at work, losing 10 pounds, eating better. There are so many things that you can redefine. I am going to go in with a little finishing powder. I love to use Sephora Micro Smooth. I hope they never discontinue this. And then I like to go in and highlight again with the Juvia's Place finishing powder. So you want to go maybe like 2 shades lighter if you're trying to just go in with a highlighting powder. I do this because I want for people to see me and say, this girl did not let all of these things overcome her or overwhelm her. She didn't let these things stop her. She still goes out every day. She gets herself dressed. She puts her makeup on. She does her hair nicely. She does all of these things just to show that you can be okay. And don't get me wrong, because there has definitely been moments where I have not been okay. And it's okay to not be okay as well. I think that that's something that you have to learn as well. Dealing with lupus, you're going to have to establish boundaries. You know, there's just going to be a lot of things that may transpire. things that there are going to be a lot of things that are going to transpire that are going to be way out of your control. But I say this saying all the time and my family laughs, but I'm always like that song, like that's why I love tomorrow, because there's always a tomorrow. There's always going to come a next day where you can work on that thing. That's all you have to just keep telling yourself. I absolutely love this eyeshadow. Once I got this eyeshadow, which I got this eyeshadow maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I haven't picked up no eyeshadow since. If you're looking for just a natural put together look, I'm telling you, for a natural put together look, this Makeup by Mario palette is literally it's all you need. It's all you need. I haven't used anything else in like 3 or 4 years. And this is honestly just like my little go-to. This is my natural glam. My natural little, I wouldn't say this is my natural everyday look, but if I need to go to dinner, hang out with the girls, go to brunch, whatever, this is all I'm gonna do. This is all I'm gonna give. It is just enough for me. I know that sometimes, and I feel like there will be more videos coming, especially since it's Lupus Awareness, but you don't even have to have lupus to just feel like, girl, I ain't got time for no makeup today. I'm just gonna do a little this and I'm just gonna do a little that, and I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with this palette. I just go in with this little shade here in the corners and just like in the middle there, and then I go in with this on top, put a little bit of a lighter shade here just to highlight that, and that's all I'm giving. That's all I'm giving. So if you need you just a little pick-me-up look, this is it. Again, although I make my videos, you know, with the lupus girls in mind, my channel is not just for the lupus girls, it's for all girls. I feel like we can all relate to just having so much to learn in life with whatever pit stops that we come into, whatever obstacles or hurdles that we come across. And these were just some of the lessons that I have, you know, learned with dealing with lupus. You know, some of the reality checks that I had to come across with dealing with lupus and just life in general, going from my 20s to my 30s. And I know that that resonates with everyone. Like, you don't have to have lupus, you know, to relate to this or to understand. So I'm really hoping to be a little bit more consistent with you guys. I know I say that every single time, but I just had to come on here and just share a little bit with you guys. I cannot believe it has been 10 years plus, because it's gonna actually be 11 years in September. But just to see the progression, and if you know me, like, you know, drop the comments down below, you know. Or if you've been here throughout the process, even if you don't know me personally, if you've been here, you've been subscribed, you know where I've come from. So drop some comments down below, and also drop some comments down below how, you know, your different challenges have affected you, some life lessons that you have learned, a little stories, little small stories of what you have gone through, just to let everyone know that we're all in this together. We're a one big whole community. We're all here for each other, and I hope that that's what you guys get from me always. You just see the light in me, and that is my daily prayer. Again, it is just that whatever God is doing in me, I just want for the people that it's for, whoever the lesson is for, whoever these challenges are for, that they can look at me and they can see the God in me. They can see the progression, and they can just see the light despite everything that I have been through. Okay, y'all, so also on the lashes, I'm going to go with Essence Lash Princess. I do the teal and the purple color. This is not a waterproof mascara, so I'm just gonna give y'all that, but you are gonna have fluttered lashes, so we're gonna go in with that. Okay, can you guys see the little pick-me-up? Now we're just going to go on top with the purple one. And this is just to stiffen or mold it a little bit more. You guys see how that looks? Period. And that's one thing I had to learn too, dealing with lupus. Of course, my priorities are a little different when it comes to spending on makeup and just personal things in general. Guys, y'all can achieve the same type of looks from these little drugstore products. This is right from Ulta Essence products, like the young folks do. So guys, like, share, comment. I'm really hoping to be consistent. That's one goal this year that I'm really wanting to stick with. So I will see you guys later. Bye.